Hello everyone, another day, another list review for the English Nationals. They are trickling in now. The first few days I had a flood of army lists. Right now it's like a few. Today I'm going to do a list review for a noob, for someone who's attending their first tournament. And as I have stated previously, if you're attending your first competitive tournament, I will try to be respectful and gentle in my comments because typically the lists for beginners, for rookies, are maybe not very good. So I will try to keep my outrage to a minimum, being a competitive player myself. But I will give feedback and ideas for how you can use your army. Although I don't want to influence the results too much, so I will also try to keep that at an acceptable level. Right, let's go and see. This is from Chris Davies. Let's go and see his list. Right, okay. 17 order dice at 1,000 points. That is order dice spam. At some point, somewhere in this list, Chris is saving a lot of points and throwing stuff in there that's really cheap. I have an idea what it might be. Let's see if I'm right. I think it's gonna be dogs. Bomb dogs. Okay. So it's a Soviet reinforced platoon. The Soviets are right now, in my eyes, maybe the best thing you can do competitively. It's really good because you get so many options, and the national special rules actually benefit some of these options and some of the builds that you can do with the Soviet army. I've made other videos on Soviets, so in the tutorial playlist you can go watch those. There is a lot to be said for going with Soviets if you want to win events, and we see this at events that the Soviets are doing quite well. Like if just picking the nations, right? Chris is starting out with the tax of a junior lieutenant, inexperienced, 35 points. This guy wants to hide. He wants to stay behind something where he is completely covered. So behind line of sight blocking stuff, and he doesn't want to move at all unless there's like one objective that he wants to run up to, but then he's very vulnerable to sniper fire. Preferably he wants to stay behind something where he can give morale bonus to whatever's in that area terrain that's blocking line of sight to. Mounted recon units. Oh, these are good. 2 riflemen, 1 submachine gun, 1 extra submachine gun on the NCO, and a flamethrower. Yes. There is something to be said to bringing an extra rifleman than you're doing here, Chris, and that is because if one of the things that the mounted recon can do is that they have that special rule called mounted recon. They can leave a guy in their transport, making sure that the transport can fire all of its weapon systems. So if you're running them in brain carriers, for instance, then you might want to leave one guy there. So that is why we have 2 riflemen, because one of them is going to be loading the flamethrower, and one of them is going to be left behind in a Bren carrier. So this build that Chris is doing here is maybe the optimized build for mounted recon. It's really good. And let's see if he's bringing those Bren carriers later on. I think he might be, because I think that Chris, you might have written that you're a noob and that this is your first competitive tournament, but you definitely know what you're doing when you're building lists. Yes. The free rifle squad, you always want to take those. At max, green, anti-tank grenades, we know him, we love him. They're good. These are really good at taking objectives. Chris, you can go and I made like an hour-long video on infantry tactics. The free infantry here is a classic example of an objective taking, backline holding infantry unit. Have them somewhere where they have some cover in your own deployment zone and go on ambush. Cover your flanks. Be ready to move up to an objective. That's what they want to do. Ooh, heavy inexperienced mortar. Whew. This is, again, if you want to save points, running inexperienced mortars. If you want something that really hits hard, run the heavy one. You could get away with running a medium one. It's pretty much the same, but this does kill more if you have the points. Oh, did I say dog mines? I said dog mines. Here they come. Now, Chris, you bought a 3-man unit for the dog mines. You don't actually need it to be a 3-man unit. 2-man dog mines are, in my eyes, better because they become small team and you can get more of them. More order dice is always better, right? So for me, I would rather have 2 units of dogs than 1, and I would rather have them be 2-man units. Artillery. The 3761K model. It's an anti-aircraft gun. So it's light. It's light autocannon. 2 shots. Fixed. I know people who are really good at using these. And what you do is you pick some line down the table where you want to make sure that the enemy doesn't cross this. You place your anti-aircraft gun there, and you just go on ambush and you wait. And you maybe the whole game your gun is not doing anything, but what it does do is that it'll make sure that you dominate where the enemy can and will move. So that works. A gas jeep as an armored car. It is pretty crappy. Have it in your backlines because it doesn't have recce, but it does have the MMG, which means that it can be a backline MMG. It's even cheaper than if you had bought an MMG team. So just stay on your own backlines, deliver pins to the enemy. Steward, a darker steward. Yes. This is why Soviets are so hated, right? They have all the good tools. So the darker steward is really, really good. And I'm guessing you already know this. And here comes the Bren carriers. 2 Lend-Lease Bren carriers for those mounted recons to be in. Yes, this is a really good and really competitive list. The carriers here function as extra armor, basically. They're mini tanks. They can split fire with their machine guns. They're 7+. They are open top, so you will get pinned. But if you just stay behind line of sight blocking cover, then just run through it, deliver those mounted recon units, you're going to kill stuff. So they're really, really good. Yeah. This is a nice list. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And it has a second platoon right down here. Yeah, because I was thinking, where was the rest of those order dice? Another junior lieutenant, pretty cheap order die. Scout units, 2 of those. The combination here is extra good because you know what happens? The scout units, they are deployed forward deployed, so you're making sure where the enemy can deploy their snipers. You're dominating the sniper game as well. This list has so many tools that it can use, and the combination of a few rifles with the submachine guns means that enemy snipers will not know what to kill if they're shooting at them. And you can take off the rifle dudes, at least the one rifle dude as the first casualty, before you take off any of the submachine guns. So it has the capacity to reach out at 24 inches, and it still has the capacity of a lot of machine guns. Really good units, and I really like them. A medium mortar, inexperienced, yes. What I talked about before. Oh, here comes another dog mine. And a Katusha. Oh my god, this list has all the goodness, doesn't it? So the Katusha is going to spread out the enemy. The flak gun is going to make sure that you dominate where the enemy can move. The scouts are going to make sure you dominate where the enemy can deploy their forward deployers. And your mounted recon units and your Darker Steward is going to be your push element, with you firing 3 indirect shots each turn, plus the Katusha, so the enemy can't stand still and they can't move. Oh my god. This is a really good, really competitive list. It's basically an optimized version of what you can do with Soviets. It's really, really strong, this list. Chris, I hope you don't think that you can win by just bringing the strongest list, but this is really strong, really competitive. Good luck, and yeah, I hope you really, I really hope you win some games with this, because the list has the potential. It's just a matter of using it correctly then. Right. Cheers.